In one particular way, Star Trek Lower Decks is more realistic than Star Trek The Next Generation. The adventures of the USS Cerritos just came to an end with the series finale of Star Trek Lower Decks on Paramount Plus. As Captain Carol Freeman, Dawn Lewis, and the eclectic crew of the USS Cerritos came together to save the universe from an unstable quantum fissure. After the Cerritos created a permanent portal to infinite Star Trek timelines, Starfleet moved Starbase 80 to the wormhole's entrance and put Captain Freeman in charge of the missions to other quantum realities. Following Captain Freeman's exit, Commander Jack Ransom, Jerry O'Connell, accepted a promotion to become the new captain of the Cerritos. Several other characters have been promoted throughout Star Trek Lower Decks' 5 seasons, including all of the Lower Deckers. Lieutenants Brad Boimler, Jack Quaid, Beckett Mariner, Tawny Newsome, Sam Rutherford, Eugene Cordero, and Devan Attendee, Noel Wells, all began the series as ensigns but ended as junior-grade lieutenants. Promotions in Star Trek Lower Decks happen at a much more realistic rate than they ever did on Star Trek The Next Generation. Star Trek Lower Decks takes place from approximately 2380 to 2382, and several promotions happen on the USS Cerritos during that 3-year span. Although Starfleet is not technically a military organization, its command structure is set up much like the United States Navy. Starfleet officers begin their careers as cadets at Starfleet Academy and work their way through the ranks after being assigned to a starship or space station. Starfleet officers generally receive a promotion after a particularly impressive achievement or successful mission. While many of the characters on Star Trek The Next Generation kept their ranks throughout the show's 7 seasons, Star Trek Lower Decks promoted their officers significantly faster. As ensigns, Boimler, Mariner, Rutherford, and Tendi were at the bottom of the command structure on the Cerritos and often received menial jobs that reflected that. As the show progressed, however, they were promoted to lieutenants, junior grade, and given more responsibility. Captain Jack Ransom's promotion to captain also happens faster than those on TNG. Commander William Riker, Jonathan Frakes, never became captain of the Enterprise D. Star Trek The Next Generation's reluctance to promote its officers had more to do with the television landscape of the time than it did with any in-universe reasoning. Television of the 1980s and 1990s was mostly episodic, meaning each episode began and ended with the characters more or less in the same place, narratively speaking. If Riker had accepted a promotion to captain during TNG, for example, it would have drastically changed the status quo. For this reason, the characters were rarely promoted, and even when they were, their ultimate role on the ship did not change much. Geordi LaForge, LeVar Burton, was promoted the most on TNG, becoming a full lieutenant at the start of Season 2 and a lieutenant commander about a year later. Still, LaForge served as chief engineer from TNG Season 2 onward, and his change in rank did not seem to alter his role on the show. Counselor Deanna Troi, Marina Sirtis, became a full commander in TNG Season 7 and began wearing a Starfleet uniform. Star Trek Lower Decks offered a more realistic time frame for promotions rather than the often static command structure of Star Trek The Next Generation.